course, now we are live on all of our platforms on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and of course, KGRADB Radio, who sponsors the platform, the show. So, folks, I'm Bishop James Long, and you are you, and I appreciate you being here on this Friday. It is Friday, Paranormal Fridays, where we sit back, we talk about everything and anything related to the paranormal and supernatural. And that's what we do here on Fridays, anything and everything. So let me just say a couple things before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show. Now, folks, remember, I want you to do yourself a favor. First, I love the paranormal, and I'm not going to apologize to anybody for it. There have been a lot of clergy who have used the fact that I love the paranormal community. They've used that against me. And I don't understand it. I don't understand the hatred. Truly. I mean, I have been called everything but my name because I love the paranormal and because I serve the paranormal community. I've served the paranormal community for over 20 years. And that has been used against me. Well, too bad, because I love the paranormal and I'm not going to apologize because of it. So in saying that, if you love the paranormal as well, as much as I do, then this is what I invite you to do. Do yourself and this show a favor. I want you to go to this website, KGRADB.com. KGRADB.com. They are the sponsors of our shows. And I tell you what, I am so honored to be a part of the KGRADB family. Now, I want you to go to that website and I want you to subscribe. They have paranormal shows everywhere there. I mean, really great shows. And yes, this show airs on KGRADB as well. Now, subscribe. But if you subscribe, make sure you put Bishop as your promo code, because you're going to get 30% off your subscription. Now, look, folks, I'm telling you, I have not made one, and Mr. Producer can verify this. I have not made one penny, not one penny off telling you about the subscription, because matter of fact, I told Mr. Producer, I don't want a kickback. I don't want any type of funds, because you guys sponsor the show. And I think that out of respect for KGRADB, I don't receive any type of kickback at all by telling you about the promo code. Nothing. And Mr. Producer can verify this. I've not received one penny from KGRADB, not one. And because they pay for this, they pay for the platform. And, it's an honor to be here and spend this time with you. And we built this community, and I appreciate them doing this. So I'm truly honored to be a part of the KGRADB family. So again, the website is KGRADB.com. Please go there and subscribe. But make sure you put Bishop as your promo code. It's going to save you 30% off. So, and they have some great shows. Now, a lot of people say, well, maybe if you're brand new here and you don't know a whole lot about me, no problem. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to my website. My website is bishopjameslong.com. It's very, very simple, bishopjameslong.com. And go there and check. All the information is there. Everything is there for you. I have a store online. By the way, I have several items on the store. And I don't receive a paycheck for being clergy. Not one paycheck. This is all free. I literally receive nothing. No stipend, nothing. And I go to people's homes and I never charge. I haven't charged one penny in all my, in 20 years, I'm not charged one penny. So I pay for it out of my own pocket. However, I have a store, online store, and a lot of people love this. This is the Benedictine bracelet. And thank you. Deacon Tommy donated a couple dozen for me, and I really appreciate that to the ministry. And so thank you, Deacon Tommy. And you can go to that website, Bishop James Long, click on the store and purchase yours, and I will bless yours for free. No, you're not buying a blessed item that's simony, but you're buying this item and I will bless it for you as a courtesy. This is a Benedict and metal bracelet, and Saint Benedict is the patron saint for exorcists. Okay, so that's there. I have plenty of these for you. So if you want to purchase them for a Christmas, if you buy them now, I will make sure that I send them out. You'll get it for Christmas. But you buy them now because time is ticking away. Also, I do have some. I don't have a lot of these, but I do have the St. Michael necklaces, and these are truly beautiful. And so here's the St. Michael necklace. And that is gorgeous. And I will, if you order yours, I will, of course, send that to you. I will bless that as well, again, for free, just as just a way to say thank you. And I also have these Benedictine necklaces. They're a little smaller, but they are beautiful. These. And I have the bigger ones too. I just got those in. And those are really, really nice. And so make sure you do that. I don't know if these are. Yeah. Anyway, make sure. Oh yeah. Thank you, Mr. Producer. Mr. Producer, that was very kind of you. He's putting that on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and showing everybody. Yeah, it's the bigger one. If you scroll down there, Mr. Producer. Well, there's that's St. Michael. Keep on going. Okay. There's. Okay. Let's go up. Sorry, Mr. Producer is showing everybody on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and KGRAD. There it is, right there. That's a beautiful, beautiful necklace. Now, I don't have a whole lot of those. They're the brand new Benedictine necklace. It says LG because they're pretty good size, but those are beautiful. I love them. And so anyway, I don't have a whole lot of that. So order yours, and I'll ship it out to you. But make sure you got to get them, and I'll make sure you do that. Okay. And finally, I want you to go to the church's website. People ask me all the time, what is your church? What are you Catholic? Blah, blah, blah. I understand the questions. Look, folks, please go to the church's website, usocc.org. All the information is there. Okay. All the information is there. usocc.org. Okay. It's there. And they have a frequently asked questions section. Thank you, Mr. Producer. Well, he's on top of it. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, Mr. Producer on KGRADB is he's behind the scenes. And I wish one day TikTok, I wish we can connect that to StreamYard, because then you guys get to see everything. But that's okay. That's all right. But yeah, that's the website, usocc.org. And that's the church's website. Tonight, by the way, we have night prayer. We have night prayer Monday through Friday. A lot of people are asking me to pray for a special pet. Folks, please listen. Here's what I want you to do. For those of you who are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and KGRADB, you see it on your screen. Those of you on TikTok, all you got to do is go to my website, bishopjameslong.com. Scroll down to the bottom where it says night prayer. Click on it, and it takes you right there. It's Spreaker. It's strictly audio. Okay? And we have it at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everyone is invited. Everyone is. So please come pray with our community. Yep, there it is right there. And that's I believe the Spreaker page. And we start, remember, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We pray Monday through Friday. All right. Okay. Tonight we are going to be giving away a couple of special gifts because it is December and Christmas is right around the corner, and I just want to do it. Why not? So today we have a couple of gifts that I'm going to be offering to you guys. Someone I will be giving away tonight. I will be giving away a Benedictine bracelet to someone, and also I have this one is really pretty too. I have a cross. This one is a cross on this one. So I'll be giving that away. And there might be a few other little items that I might grab and say, why not? I'll give that away too. Now, I want to let everybody know the schedule coming up, and then I'll get to the paranormal, because we have to do the business stuff. No, they're not graven images. People are always saying it's graven images. Graven images are for worship. And if you read the Old Testament, you don't take it out of context, because graven images, what the golden calf is all about, worshiping the golden calf. We do not worship. So there's a big difference. I mean, people, let's calm down with graven images. No, we don't worship it. No, we're not worshiping. It's God. That's what we worship. So just relax on the graven images stuff. You can't take scripture out of context. Now, on the 23rd, I will be here. So I will be here on the 23rd. Mr. Producer, real quick, are you going to be here on the 23rd? We'll ask Mr. Producer. He wasn't expecting for me to ask a question. He will be here. Okay, so Mr. Producer will be here on the 23rd. And now we will have Bible study. I will have Bible study on the 25th. Now, Mr. Producer is not here with us on that. So if you want to join us for Bible study, I will be airing it live on Christmas night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as normal. So it's going to be on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and it's also going to be right here on TikTok. So there we go. All right. Okay, my health. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing fine. I appreciate the question. People are asking me a lot about my weight loss. Folks, I exercise every single day. I walk 5 miles a day. 5 miles a day. I've given up sugar. I've given up carbs, and I drink lots and lots and lots of water. That's the key. You know, that in protein, healthy protein. So yeah, I am just really pushing hard with my weight because I want to be healthy. Oh yeah, Krampus. Thank you so much for reminding me that. Thank you. Yeah, I will be on the 23rd. We'll be doing a presentation on Krampus. That'd be pretty cool. That will be pretty cool. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me remember that. Hang on, everybody, because I'm going to, I need to remember this because I forgot all about it. And I will do that. That'd be a cool presentation on the 23rd. Okay. Tonight we're going to talk about a topic. We've talked about it before, but a lot of people missed it, and they've asked me to do a presentation again on this on the 23rd. There we go. John Wayne Gacy. That is the presentation that I'm going to be discussing tonight. And a lot of people ask me, do I believe John Wayne Gacy was possessed? What about Dahmer? What about any of the serial killers? Well, we're going to get into that. But I'll get you, and I will also answer paranormal questions as well. So if you have paranormal questions, we'll get into that. The only thing that we ask, folks, is you just be kind, no name calling, no, don't attack someone else because they have a different belief system than you do, and so don't mention demonic entities' names in the chat room. There's no reason to do that, so just don't do it. And also, folks, I have to tell you, for those of you who are on TikTok, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate if you would. Thank you very much for the likes, the 27,000 likes already on TikTok. Thank you. And remember, the only people that are allowed to pen questions to the chat on TikTok are subscribers. So moderators, I am asking if anyone else pins questions, you unpin it. Because that's just something that we offer to subscribers, okay? And thank you very much for the gifts as well that you've also bestowed on TikTok. Okay, let's get into our presentation today. And Shannon Long, Shannon Long 30 is my sister. Shannon Long, are you going to be going live? Are you going to be going live tonight? And again, I don't know why people keep asking me this question. I'm not, although one time I did make a mistake. I did. People ask me all the time, am I wearing makeup? Folks, I don't wear makeup. Now, okay, you are going live. Good. Okay, so Shannon Long 30 will go live after this. I do not wear makeup. Now, I do have powder that I put on my forehead because I have a great big forehead that you can eat your breakfast off of. So what happens is if I have all these lights and it shines really, really bright. So the secret to that, I've done a lot of film, Ghost Adventures and History Channel, all that stuff, is you put a little bit of powder on your forehead and it dulls that bright light. So that's a little secret there. However, one time on TikTok, I forgot there. Apparently I must have had a filter on and I wasn't really paying attention to it because, you know, I'm doing a presentation and my lips were ruby red. I mean, they were like, I was going out on the town. And people kept saying, oh, you have pretty lips. You have I was like, what in the world? That's such a rude thing to say, the clergy. And I had no idea because I wasn't paying attention to it. And then I looked at my lips and I thought, oh, hell, they are candy apple red. I mean, really, they were bright candy apple red. And so, you know, so I kept moving through it. And I realized that apparently there was some filter. You know, you were there that night. But no, these are just my natural lips. So, but I appreciate you those of you paying attention to my lips. Woo, okay. All right. So let's talk about the topic at hand. John Wayne Gacy. Um, and again, if you are on TikTok, you're more than welcome to ask a question, and I'll try to get to them as much as you can, as much as I can. All right, this was a really great article that was written by Brad Sandifer. And I want to share with you what he wrote. And he really is fantastic writing. But and hello to all you guys. I really do appreciate all of you being here. Thank you. And thank you, moderators, for being here. Thank you for the likes. I have 2 paintings that John Wayne Gacy did, actual paintings. And I'm going to share those paintings with you tonight. You'll see them tonight. Some family had brought them in to their home because they love the paranormal. And when they brought it home, they started having some really crazy activity occurring in their house, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. And I asked them, I said, well, what were you, what changed? Did you do anything? Did you bring anything? Did you play with the Ouija board? Did you go out paranormal investigating and provoke and invite? What did you do? And the only thing that changed was the fact that they actually bought these legitimate, these are real paintings. And that's the only thing that they could figure out that changed. So tonight I'm going to show those paintings to you. When I go to paranormal conferences, I do bring some of my haunted objects, which, by the way, I am going to talk about haunted objects again. I've done it before, but this was a while ago. So I will be talking about, and I'll show some of these haunted items again. I've gotten several new ones that are really quite terrible, really terrible. And that's not this show, but I will be showing those probably maybe in the first of next year. Okay. No, I'm not doing Ghost Adventures. I'm not scheduled for Ghost Adventures. Zach is a friend of mine. I did do Bobby Mackey's episodes, but no, I'm not. I can't talk about the show. I'm not allowed to, that I filmed. I can only say that, yep, we filmed in Los Angeles. It's all wrapped. It's all ready to go. A network owns it. They will air it when they're ready to air it. So it is for an entire season. Once they tell us we can start advertising, then I'll let you know all about it. But it's a show for it's a season, and it's very intense, very, very intense. I am feeling better, and I appreciate that. And thank you for all your prayers. Excuse me. Okay, John Wayne Gacy, and when I'm talking this presentation, I will kind of glance at your questions and try to answer them as we go. I'm just curious, how many of you think John Wayne Gacy was possessed? Well, hello and welcome from all over across the pond. Welcome. How many of you think that John Wayne Gacy was possessed? I'm just curious. Can we do a poll? Hey, can we do a poll there on TikTokers? If somebody can do a poll, one of the moderators, I would appreciate that, because we figured out how to do a poll, and that was really, really cool. I loved it. I don't know how to do it. Oh, well, thank you, Jack's Paranormal. Do you think John Wayne Gacy was possessed? Thank you, Jack's Paranormal. Okay. So we have a poll going on right now on TikTokers. Thank you. I appreciate that. And we'll figure out what people say. So what do you think? While we're doing a poll here on TikTok, is it Diddy? Nope. Nadine says, I think he was, don't know, but he was evil. Hetty says, I do. Ellen Rogers says, I think he was. I have no clue who that is. Really, Jackie? Oh, then Jackie, if you don't know who John Wayne Gacy is, you're going to be shocked. Some people don't, but I'll tell you. Some people say he was evil. He has to be. Don't know. Agree with Justin. No, I don't. Okay. So it's kind of like yes and no. There are some yes, there are some no. Do we have an update on the poll on TikTokers? Because I'd like to find out what the percentage is. I don't know how to do that. I appreciate that you doing that for us. Some says yes up here. Okay, he was just evil until his last word. Okay. Oh, okay. So Fancy says there's several of you don't know that he was. Okay. Okay. So there. Thank you. Poll ended. Do you think John Wayne Gacy was possessed? 31%, basically 32%, said yes, and 68 or 69% said no. Okay. Well, I've talked about this before when I did my presentation the last time. Here's why I say I don't think he was possessed. John Wayne Gacy remembered everything that he did. Everything. So therefore, if he was under the stage of possession, he would not have remembered that. Now, could he have been under the stage of oppression? Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about it. So let me just explain that. Infestation is when the demonic has infested itself in the home, and then you have violent activity occurring in the home. Oppression is when it begins to attack you. Now, through ordinary demonic activity, that's what the term is called. The demonic can tempt you or influence you to do terrible things or to sin. Now, in John Wayne Gacy's situation, it was god awful. Let me tell you a little bit. And again, thank you very much for those of you who are subscribing. I really appreciate that. Thank you on TikTok. Thank you for that. So born in Chicago to an alcoholic father on March 17, 1942, John Wayne Gacy and his siblings suffered abuse, both verbal and physical. His father also abused his mother. Now, Gacy had a heart condition that disallowed him from playing with other children. Now, this heart condition, along with some effeminate traits, caused his father to reject him. Gacy did not have an easy childhood. He suffered an alcoholic father who happily degraded him all the time, referring to him as a sissy and despising Gacy's poor health. So John Sr. viewed John Wayne Gacy Jr. as a sickly weakling, is what he always called him, and was ashamed of his child. Now, another reason for this spite was Gacy's self-proclamation of a mama's boy. So with all this, Gacy still sought his father's approval. Now, there are conflicting reports on Gacy's childhood. For example, Team 7 reports that Gacy, self-described as a mama's boy, states that his abusive father gave him this name because his mother tried to protect him from the abuse. This also reports that Gacy was once punished due to a molestation allegation, allegedly molesting a female with another boy at age 7. So this report also states that Gacy was beaten regularly with a razor whip. Okay, Gacy was overweight. He was non-athletic, and adding to the reasons for rejecting by his father. Gacy was rejected by his father and noted he never stopped trying to win approval. Gacy was the middle child of 3 and the only son. So what a lot of people don't know is John Wayne Gacy was actually molested at age 9, and that was committed by a family friend. And Gacy kept this secret. So Gacy started experiencing blackouts in the 4th grade and was hospitalized for seizures and a burst appendix. So the cause of Gacy's seizures and blackouts was never diagnosed. Now, some sources are claiming that Gacy was hit in the back of the head so hard that it actually caused a blood clot. And this clot led to blackouts until it was discovered by doctors when he was 16. So let's talk about his childhood. Again, a lot of people don't know about the background of John Wayne Gacy. And for those of you who don't know, I'll tell you what he did in just a second. It's going to blow your mind. Many of you have said you don't know about Gacy. Well, listen to this. Gacy became involved in politics when he was 18 years old, and he took a job as an assistant precinct captain for the Democrat Party. And in 1962, Gacy moved to Las Vegas and began working for an ambulance service. And after 3 months, he was transferred to a mortuary. Now, while working in the morgue, Gacy slept there as well. Now, Gacy reported that he actually got into a coffin sometimes with a deceased teen's body on one occasion and held and caressed the body. Gacy claims he was so shocked by his behavior that he quit and moved back home to Chicago. So Gacy graduated from Northwestern Business College in 1963 and married for the first time in 1964. Now, at age 17, Gacy was diagnosed with a non-specific heart ailment, though other sources state it was congenital heart disease. Okay, in 1967, Gacy had 2 children by 1967 with his first wife, Marilyn Myers. Isn't that interesting? Gacy had become involved with the JCs and was named the 3rd best JC in 1965. Now, eventually becoming vice president of his chapter. This is significant because Gacy was running a club in his basement for teen boys. So he served the boys alcohol and attempted sexual activity with them. Now, if they refused his attempts, he excused the attempt by claiming he was just kidding. Now, Gacy also performed as a clown named Pogo, to earn people's confidence. Now, Gacy was arrested in 1968 for molesting a teenager. Okay. No, I'm saying Gacy, not JC. Oh, you're talking about the JC. Yeah, that was an organization, JC. It's JAYCEE. Good question. It's an organization that where young men do a lot of community service. Okay, so he was convicted, and he was actually sentenced to 10 years and released after 18 months during his incarceration. His first wife, Marilyn, divorced him. Now, in 1970, he was arrested for sexually assaulting another teen boy, and the charges were then dropped when the victim failed to appear in court. So in 1972, Gacy married a woman named Carol Hoff, and he also committed his first known murder that year. Gacy lured Timothy McCoy to his home on the pretense of employment, and he sexually assaulted and then murdered him. McCoy was Gacy's first known murder victim. By the way, the movie It, and even the story It, is loosely based on John Wayne Gacy. Okay, according to True Crime Magazine in 2017, John Wayne Gacy stated that after killing his first victim, Timothy McCoy, he felt totally drained due to experiencing a mind-numbing, what he described as, it was very overwhelming, and he loved it. Now, the magazine also quoted Gacy as stating, "That's when I realized that death was the ultimate thrill." Okay, now Gacy was a member of the Jolly Joker Club, a clown club. Now, biography further reports when he killed, he sometimes dressed as his alter ego, Pogo the Clown. Or sometimes he used to call himself Patches the Clown. Now, Gacy explained his clown work by stating this. He said, "Nobody ever questions what clowns do." And he said, quote, "Hell, clowns can go up to women," he said broads, "on the sidelines and squeeze their private parts, and all the women do is giggle." Vulgar. Gacy and Hoff divorced in 1976. So Gacy was becoming well known in his neighborhood and community. And his father-in-law even made him the manager of 3 Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurants. Now, by the way, if you can just do me a favor and just hold off on the questions for just a moment, because I really want to give you a background on this, and then believe me, I'll get all your questions on paranormal, I promise you. And thank you for the gifts on TikTok. Thank you for that. Now, he also showed himself to be a skilled salesman at other jobs and opened his well-known, reputed, successful construction business. And he was appointed to the lighting committee of Norwood Park, his town of residence. In 1975, Gacy, and listen to this, Gacy actually received a Secret Service security clearance as a member of a parade organization. And this is the man who was served time in prison for molesting a child. This position allowed him to actually meet and shake hands with Rosalind Carter, President Jimmy Carter's wife. And there are pictures out there of him actually getting to meet. It's insane. Now, of 35 known victims, let me say that again. For those of you who don't know John Wayne Gacy, we know there are at least 35 victims. So of 35 known victims, 36 is the female molestation charge is valid. Gacy went on to kill 33. Some victim identities are still unknown. Lieutenant Jason Moran of the Cook County Sheriff's Police is continuing to attempt identification of 8 victims. In a brief discussion with Lieutenant Moran, he had identified 2 of those victims and resolved outcomes of 5 missing persons who were either alive or deceased but were not victims of Gacy. He further mentioned that he may have identified a 3rd but cannot yet confirm the possibility. Now, True Crime Magazine in 2017 claims strong evidence exists that Gacy had an accomplice, though no one else was ever arrested or charged. Gacy was knowingly active as a serial killer from 1972 to 1978. Based on his previous sexual assault convictions, there remains unproven suspicion that there may be pre-1972 victims that have not been discovered. I'm convinced there was. Based on Gacy's statement regarding McCoy's murder being the one that made him discover the joy of killing, that some people say it's unlikely. Now, Warden noted that 32 bodies were found. Now, listen to this. 32 bodies were found underneath Gacy's house in Norwood Park, Illinois, though other sources give different information regarding the discovery and locations of the victims. However, a 33rd victim was found in a nearby river. Gacy was arrested in 1978 after his 33rd murder victim, Robert Piest. He was found in a river, leading to his arrest within a few days. In 1980, he was sentenced to death by lethal injection. Now, in addition to confessing to 30 of the murders, then recanting, Gacy attempted to blame the victims, claiming that several tried to blackmail him. So while incarcerated, Gacy did oil paintings, many of them of clowns, and several of his paintings were sold or auctioned off, and they were sold between $200 to $20,000 a painting. True Crime Magazine in 2017 reports that he did several clown paintings, some of which were essentially self-portraits. And in June of 1994, Gacy was executed by lethal injection. And the execution took 18 minutes because one of his intravenous lines had clogged. So basically, for those of you who don't know, John Wayne Gacy, he had a construction company, and he hired a lot of young teen kids, basically, 18, 19 years old, to come work for him. Now, a lot of these young boys, they had some maybe a questionable, whatever, background, but what he would do is if he had a victim, he would bring them into his home. Now, he had people who actually worked for him that were teen boys that he did not kill. But when he found the victim, he would put handcuffs on him, and then he would turn around, and then he would say, voila, and the handcuffs were off. Yeah, he did have, he had children. He had 2. Now, what happened is he would tell the guys, well, you want to learn how to do it? And this guy said, sure, yeah, whatever. So the Gacy would put the handcuffs on them. He would put the handcuffs behind their back. He would do it. And they was, okay, I can't get the handcuffs off, take them off now. And he took out a key. And he would say, you see, dummy, this is what you got to have. And then he would usually grab them by the hair and throw them down. Sometimes he would dress as a clown when he did this. And he would torture them. I mean, extremely. It was terrible what he did. And he would enjoy it. He would rape them. And ultimately, he either suffocated them or he would drown them. He would fill the bathtub up with water while they're handcuffed, and he would put their head in the tub until they drowned. But he would enjoy he would get great satisfaction and pleasure of torturing these people. I mean, sometimes it would last all day. Ultimately, what would happen is he would kill them. And he had a little crawl space under his house. And he would dig holes, and then he would bury them under his home. Now, he had, again, 33 bodies that are known under his house. Now, what happened is, unfortunately, maggots and the smell was becoming problematic, even to the point where the neighbors were even smelling it and complaining. And he would say, oh, well, I just sewer issues and I'm trying to fix it. And he would make a bunch of excuses. Now, keep in mind, this is a man who is actually respected in his area. Very respected. He was he was in the JCs. He was a volunteer in the Democrat Party. Again, he even met the president's wife. He would have big, huge 4th of July parties and invite all the mayors and the governor and all these. Everybody knew him. And so eventually the smell was getting terrible, really terrible, even to where roaches were going up to the sink and the kids were screaming and crying. But he would try to spray and put lye down to try to fix the smell. Well, it got too much. And so eventually what happened is he began to be tailed, investigated. Robert Peace was what happened is this young man was at a pharmacy, and he had heard that Gacy was there, and Gacy had this, and he was paying, his guys good money. And so he found out that, hey, look, Gacy was over there, and Gacy said, yeah, I'll hire you. Come on over to my house. Well, Robert never came home. And that's when really the police started, tailing Gacy. And it was strange because Gacy he pretended like they were his friends. Sometimes they were at restaurants and the police were there, and he'd walk up, come on over here, come on over. And he'd, buy them food and just have a good conversation with them. And he even told one detective, he said, when you're a clown, you can even get away with murder. And he actually told this to one of the detectives who were actually investigating him. And he knew he was being tailed. Well, what happened is Gacy tried to kill somebody, and he got away. And so the police, knocked on the door and said, can we come in? And of course, he would always say no. Well, one time his buddies, his detective buddies, were sitting outside in the car, and he knew they were there. And he walked out. And he said, "Guys, come on! It's too cold outside. Come on in. Get something to eat, relax, warm up." And that's really because Gacy thought that he was so intelligent he would literally get away from, because he thought he was going to be best buddies with these guys. So the detectives actually went into his home, and nothing was fine. Everything was good. But what happened is one of the detectives said, "Hey, you mind if I go, use the restroom?" "Oh, sure, no problem." So the detective went into the restroom, and the heat came on. And that is when he had an overwhelming smell of the rotten flesh. And he knew that when you're a detective, or when you are, a chaplain, as I am, and I've been to, places, times where, rotten flesh, that smell. And he knew right away. And then, of course, when Gacy tried to kill his last victim, he got away. And that's when the police came in. And then they discovered, and that was it. The gig was up. Gacy did confess, and he actually drew a map of where they would find. It was a very detailed map of where they would find the bodies. And in fact, when they dug up so that's what happened. Why would a priest talk about this? Because a lot of people ask me, oh, do I think he was possessed? Do I think there was a demonic entity? Because I don't sweep things under the rug. We have a conversation here about things like this, and that's why. Now, here's a couple theories. When applying criminological theory to a specific serial killer, first we've got to determine if any serial killers are organized, disorganized, both, or neither. So there has been some discussion directed at whether applying organized, disorganized traits to a criminal is valid. So A list of serial killers, in his case, a sexual serial killer and serial rapist classification is disorganized by crime scene behaviors. They're broken down as power assertive, power reassurance, anger retaliatory, as Gacy had it. So there is clearly something going on with this particular individual, and there are a lot of theories. Now, there's one theory says in learning theory, the two primary focus are classical and operant. Operant conditioning could apply to a serial killer. John Wayne Gacy learned from the abuse of his father. He realized that bigger, stronger, and meaner can help achieve some of his goals. And he further discovered that fear of being harmed affects cooperation. So eventually, Gacy learned that offering a reward for the victim's company would gain access to his goal. So in other words, he offered alcohol to teenagers. And Gacy raised interest and desire in his targets sufficient to convince them to accompany him. So the alcohol reduced teens' inhibitions, making his targets more controllable and less objectionable to his advances. So by attempting to force, relations upon these two teenagers we know of, he learned that he would go to prison if the victim lived and testified. And he learned the necessity of full victim control while committing his acts. That's one of the reasons why he had the handcuffs. It is quite terrible what he did, and there's no question about it. I'm not implying that he was a good guy in any way, shape, form, or fashion, because he was not. He was absolutely, truly one of the worst human beings, I think. And again, I think all serial killers are cowards. They will attack somebody when they're vulnerable. Or in Gacy's case, he attacked young boys, and he would put them, in handcuffs and control them. Now, there have been some psychological assessments that have been done on John Wayne Gacy. This is by Brandon Rodriguez. And so I think it's important to talk also about the psychological aspects, because a lot of people ask me about possession and psychology. The Pogo the Clown persona, remember he dressed as Pogo the Clown, is a prime example of John Wayne Gacy's ability to manipulate the individuals with whom he interacted. His ability to coerce and charm, he was sharp. And that parents enthusiastically allowed Gacy to interact with their own children. So John Wayne Gacy, he was very manipulative. His charming nature, his heinous offending, subsequent lack of remorse. He had no remorse whatsoever for his crimes. So there's a lot of people who would say that he suffered from antisocial personality disorder. John Wayne Gacy exhibited personality characteristics in tune with ASPD. Again, I'll address it as ASPD from now on. That's antisocial personality disorder. This was very clear through his ability to gain the victim's trust and use it to his advantage to blind rape and kill them. Gacy also, keep in mind, he had some severe instability. That's another characteristic of ASPD within his marriages that led to the degradation of the relationship. He had feelings of grandiosity. I mean, he was the most important person in the world in his mind. Very narcissistic. And lack of remorse. It could be detailed in the recorded videos, in the interviews with Gacy while he was in custody. He actually discussed the murders. That many people have not seen these tapes. He actually discussed the murders with absolutely no emotional sentiment, like in a laundry list type of fashion. And that's lending to the distance he felt towards his actions. So he had such an inflated ego, it fit his desire to hold positions of authority, which was sick. So these sensibilities for manipulation and blatant disregard for human life are indicative, or they're clear, of an antisocial personality disorder. Now, there is a theory called the frustration, aggression, and self-control theory. Testimonials from John Wayne Gacy's family and friends provided in-depth analysis of his early childhood. Video recorded interviews were not essentially psychologically based, but provided some insight for his cognitive functioning. Now, from his early childhood, Gacy was abused, as I mentioned, by his father. And this time period was probably the beginning of John Wayne Gacy's discovering the difference with other boys and perhaps his attraction to them. And this created an unpleasant state of mind where he was unable to meet his desires. So essentially, this was a frustrating circumstance. It can be explained in part by the frustration-aggression hypothesis. So this frustration-aggression hypothesis states that when a desired goal is interfered with by some perceived or real circumstances, an individual will develop hostile thoughts or actions from being barred from obtaining that goal. So this frustration rose from being unable to accept his sexual orientation because of his father's degradation and desires, and that created this aggressiveness within him. It is an interesting theory. Another theory is that there's a psychosexual aggression perspective. So fundamentally, John Wayne Gacy's murders are considerably corresponding with what current research holds about serial murder, is that they are part sexually motivated. So this sexual motivation is clearly present in Gacy's murders. He restrained them, he tormented them, and he raped his victims. His acts were primarily sexually motivated, as the principal action was the sexual thrill he received from the fear that he actually instilled and the control he held over his victims. Now, many sexual motivated serial killers began, as Gacy did, as sex offenders. There's also some reports provides that the sexual nature of this crime, which may or may not be explicit, is perverse and sadistic, reflects an aggression that is particularly destructive, as what he did to the victims. So that makes interesting. I think he had ASPD. I think he also had several things. But John Wayne Gacy endured. We know he had a harsh childhood and had a perceived antisocial personality disorder. Now, through the evaluation of his life and murder through various theories, certain theoretical conclusions have been made. So there have been psychological evaluations performed on him. His actions were heinous, yet very cohesive with serial killings. His murders were classified as a combination of frustration aggression, self-control, and psychosexual aggression principles of offending. Gacy was an opportune specimen for studying serial homicide because he was captured alive, and in-depth insight into his early life and crimes, it provided the foundation for the correlation of his actions with psychological, social, and motivational theories. So the examination of these theory through the lens of Gacy's offending is indicative of his detachment from societal bonds. So he had no emotions whatsoever, none. As a matter of fact, he did an interview once, and he stated this to the interviewer. He said, everybody got so upset because all these young boys were being murdered. And then he said, but it's not like they were altar boys or anything. That's what he said. No feeling, no emotion, completely detached from the emotional aspect of his killing. The only time that he actually received emotional excitement is when he was able to bind them, control them, and torture. Terrible. Now, what John Wayne Gacy did, he did a lot of paintings while he was in prison. And the reason is because that's how he was able to afford his defense. So because he sold them, and people paid a pretty penny for them. It's I don't understand it, but they did. So I was telling you about a family that had purchased 2 paintings that John Wayne Gacy painted. They never had paranormal activity in their home until they brought these paintings home. And what happened is they would have bangings. They would hear bangings, breathing. They could feel something breathing, like warm breathing on them in the middle of the night. It was very aggressive. It was very and animals were terrified. Something was going on in that house, in that home. So this is actually one painting that John Wayne Gacy did, and again, the family was terrified, and so they asked me, what can they do? I said, you need to get the paintings out of your home. You need to do the Epiphany of the Doors blessing, and if it doesn't calm down, then I'll have to figure out a way to come to your home and bless the home, which I did. So and it was very aggressive. So this is the first painting that he did. And of course, there is signature. He wasn't the greatest artist. Yeah, and it's protected by this covering here. So that is the first painting that he did. Well, that's one of the many paintings that he did. And then the other, there was supposed to be another family that purchased a painting, and they don't want it, and they've asked me if they can bring it. So I've been waiting. I said yes. So, and then here is another painting as well, and it is like a little cabin, and it's by the lake. So there it is. So that's kind of crazy. Now, he has a lot of different paintings. There's a lot. He painted, well, I'm not going to burn them. And the reason is I don't burn them is, number one, I bless them, and then I have them in a secure location. What people ask me all the time, why do you have them? I have them because I teach. This is one thing that I do. I teach people about demonology. I teach people about having these haunted items. They do have consequence. So this is one of the reasons why I do this. Because I want you to know that these exist, and that it's not something you should bring to your home. I've talked about this before. I do have. Remember that little old Teddy Ruxpin that I had. For those of you many of you may be brand new, so you're just checking out the show for the first time. And I was alive on TikTok, and the father brought this little Teddy Ruxpin for his daughter, a little girl. And so she was in a crib, and woke him up in the middle of the night because it was talking. And he went into the baby's room, and he remembered, I don't have batteries in this thing, because he didn't put batteries in it. And it was just sitting there talking. It was saying things that were not programmed into the device. So he took it. He said, this is gone. I don't want it. I want it gone. So he contacted me, and I actually went, yeah, we should do that again with that. I agree. And so I had it on TikTok, and many people, yeah. And Ellen saying, yeah, she was there. I had this thing, and I showed there was no batteries in it. Turn it around, and it started talking. So yeah, and a lot of people remember it. So that's why I tell people, you got to be careful with these things, because a lot of people are collecting them. Now, I think, quite honestly, there's some that are just ridiculous, but it still occurs. It still occurs. I don't believe he was possessed. No, John Paul, I don't. But I do believe that he most certainly probably had a demonic attachment. I could see that. But we got to be careful, because what happens with the Book of Enoch, everybody asked me about the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch places the blame of sin on demons and not our free will. That's a problem, because demons will tempt us, but ultimately we choose our own free will to either sin or not sin. But I certainly could agree that that John Wayne Gacy, no doubt about it, probably, no question, was probably influenced. And I also think, along with his psychological illnesses that he struggled with, I think that explains his behavior. So that's yeah, I'm live on YouTube as well. So there we go. I have matter of fact, if you want to find out about my my websites, my social media, just go to bishopjameslong.com. And what you can do, and please subscribe on my TikTok channel. I'm worried that there's a lot of politicians out there that's really pushing to ban TikTok. They're pushing that pretty hard. So I invite all of you. There's a few that's really pushing that. So I don't know. Hopefully that won't occur. But if it does, just again, bishopjameslong.com, and make sure you scroll down to where it says YouTube and click it, and it takes you right there. Make sure you subscribe. It's very, very important. So okay. So yeah, and remember, only people who subscribe, because I mentioned that earlier, only people who subscribe are allowed to pen their questions to the chat on TikTok. That's just something that we offer people who subscribe, because, you know, you're subscribing to the channel. So there's some benefits to that. So I just ask, if you have a question, if you're not a subscriber, then the penning is going to be taken. It's going to be removed. So just please understand that's reserved strictly for our subs. Okay. All right. Oh, great. Excellent. I appreciate you. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. I really want to start pushing the YouTube. I want to start doing things a lot more on the YouTube channel. So that's only going to be there. You're only going to find it on the YouTube channel. So what are you doing for Christmas? Thank you for the question. I appreciate the question very much. And thank you for subscribing, and let me follow you. I do follow everybody. I do follow you. If you subscribe, I follow on TikTok. Christmas, I will be having Bible study at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, I actually knew Lorraine. Lorraine was a friend of mine. I'm going to Pack Mule Penguin. Thank you for subscribing. I'm going to follow you. So Lorraine was a friend of mine, and I love Lorraine. She was a sweetheart. I did not know Ed, but I did know Lorraine, and she was a firecracker. She's a small woman, but she was. I tell you what, she was really, really a cool person. What you see is what you get with her, and I tell you, she is. She absolutely. Now I will tell you, Annabelle. She did not like Annabelle. She did not like Annabelle, and no, I did not learn from Lorraine. Well, I mean, I guess I kind of did, because we talked a lot about the cases, but no, I studied for the Roman Catholic priesthood for 6 years. And I've been studying demonology since I was 9 years old. So my entire life has been devoted and dedicated to this ministry. So, yeah. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Matt. Thank you. Okay. So let's get into some of your questions. And thank you very much, Ivy. Ivy 3. Thank you very much. Ivy I3. Thank you. Did Gacy claim? Did Gacy claim what? He was possessed? No, actually, Gacy first said that he did do it. Oh, that's a good question. X Bolts Nation X. What books? Let me ask that question. That's Gacy actually did say that he did confess, and then he recanted his story. Okay. Demonology and what books and what I would suggest. Okay. First of all, I teach online. You learn at your own pace. Okay. And it's all 100% online. So if you guys want to go to my here's what you need to do. bishopjameslong.com. Simple. bishopjameslong.com, and click on the class link. Click on the class link. If you click there, it will take you to a page, and you can learn. I teach paranormal studies, genealogy, demonology, and angelology, all 4 classes. You learn at your own pace, and that is it's very, very detailed. So you can certainly do that. It's all. By the way, it is on Facebook. Again, only those people who are subscribers may pin a question. Okay. So that just, again, I'm not trying to be rude, but that's just something that we hold, and we only allow subscribers to do that. Okay. Pack, I've already said that, and that's your second time. You keep pinning. No more. Okay. So I'm not trying to be mean, but I've said it twice, and I've already unpinned your comments. I don't want to ban people, but just, well, hello there, Beastie Bear 53. Okay. That is a subscriber? Oh. Well, why didn't it say it? That's weird. Jack's Paranormal, thank you. I didn't know that. Well, wait a minute. Shannon even muted him. Pax Mule Penguin, Jack is saying he's a subscriber. Yeah, Shannon, you might want to unmute him. There we go. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to do these. Okay. Well, yeah, we don't want to mute subscribers. Okay. Well, that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, he didn't. That's weird because it didn't say he was a subscriber. That is strange. Yeah, when he pinned it, it didn't say. Normally, it'll say BJL, which is Bishop James Long. I'm a subscriber, and I asked you a question. What doesn't say BJL next to your name? Oh, it doesn't say it when we pin. Oh, I got you. Well, okay, so I'll let you guys unpin it because I don't know if that's stupid that it doesn't say that. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, doing very well. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. Oh, Marcus, well, thank you very much for subscribing, and thank you to everybody for subscribing. I appreciate that. Okay, some of your questions, because everybody's asking questions, and then people get mad because I don't answer all the questions, and now I'm sitting here for the past 4 minutes. What are your questions? Do I think Ted Bundy was possessed? I don't. I don't. I think Ted Bundy knew what he was doing. So I do. That's my personal opinion, but that's what I believe. Now, by the way, predictions. I'm sorry, I don't know how you subscribe. I wish I could tell you. I'm just not very good. Maybe one of the subscribers, if you guys would pass that on, I would appreciate that. Thank you. I wish I could tell you, but I don't know. Okay. That is so, and I'm so upset that they don't show. I guess we can't do that then, Shannon. So Shannon Long 30, I guess we can't do that. I guess because it should show sub. What happens on TikTok is people can pin a question, but the problem is not showing that they're a substitute or they're subbing. There's a PayPal option for my classes. If you go to the class section, it's there. You buy it. Okay. Listen to this. The 2023 predictions. No, see, it didn't, because that's why it didn't show BJL on the when we both muted him, because when he pinned it, it did not show BJL. That's why I told him that's twice, because I looked at see, even Jax, mods can pin. See, even near by Jax, it doesn't say BJL next to him either. It's a glitch in the matrix. Listen to this, everybody. John, the scariest experience was probably Gates of Hell Cemetery. I do believe it was. There is a belief. Kathy's asking a question. Did Gacy kill animals when he was young? Usually a sign of someone who might become a serial killer. Gacy never claimed that he did. So really there's no writing, there's no interviews that anyone has ever done to prove that he did, but it would be interesting. But I don't know. Okay, thank you very much, Michelle. By the way, 2023, some of you would be very, very interested in this. No, poltergeist is not demonic. Poltergeist means noisy ghost, but it's actually not a ghost at all. It's energy. Now, can a demonic attach itself to a poltergeist? Well, it does. It can, but it doesn't have to. A malevolent spirit can. but not not a demonic entity. Well, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'll check everybody. For everybody who is subscribing, I'll make sure I follow you back as well. Well, thank you, Marcus. I appreciate that. Okay, 2023 predictions from Baba Vanga and Nostradamus. So here it is. This is from Paul Seaborn. For those of you who like people who predict, well, then you're going to be very interested in hearing what are their predictions for 2023. And folks, if you believe in these in Baba Vanga and Nostradamus, well, listen to these. The end of the year 2022 is fast approaching, which means it is time for the 2023 predictions of those famous dueling dead psychics. Now, Baba Vanga and Nostradamus, and even though there are still a few weeks left to change the course of history, there's also a good time to see how the two of the most famous seers of all time did in their prognostications of 2022. So let's start with the recap first. Okay. That will give us the time to sit down, take a deep breath, brace yourself for what Baba Vanga and Nostradamus are warning us ahead of the new year. Listen to these. All right. This Baba Vanga lived in Bulgaria from 1911 to 1996 and lives on to the present day in her predictions on major world events. Now, not one to dabble in World Cup winners, Baba Vanga occasionally forecasted royal events as she amassed a sizable collection of somewhat vague and often cryptic prognostications that nonetheless were deemed to be right or close to be correct by those who follow and interpret them. While that hasn't yet happened in the case of her 2022 prediction about a lethal virus from Siberia, which she said would happen, but it didn't, she was said to be correct about intense bouts of flood in Bangladesh, India, Thailand, and Australia, and water shortages in several countries and major cities. Now, while events like those generally happen frequently, and in those specific countries, close counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and psychic predictions, so Baba Vanga is being credited for 2 right out of the 6 for 2022. With 3 weeks left to still be right on this one, she says alien ships will attack Earth and they will bomb cities and take people captive. So what does Baba Vanga see for us in 2023? Well, here we go. Here are 5 predictions that she has said that will happen in 2023. All right. This is scary stuff. And again, I'm not saying whether or not I agree with Baba Vanga or not. I'm just passing this information on to you, and then you can decide whatever you want to do. And let me just say something. Let me just address this. Some people call me everything but my name. Some people say, oh, you're just a big fraud. Okay. Fraud people because they want to make a lot of money off of you. That's a fraud. If I'm not charging for my ministry, then how am I committing fraud? I've never charged 1 dime for my ministry. Never. Not once. I spend money out of my own pocket to get to people's homes. That's not fraud. That's a ministry. That's sacrifice. And people say, false teacher, Nehemiah, false teacher. Again, Nehemiah, how am I a false teacher when I'm talking about demons and the existence thereof? And I go to people's homes and I bless their homes for absolutely free. I have never charged 1 dime, not 1 dime. So again, how can you be a fraud when you help them? Yeah, and also I go to homeless camps and I pass out food, clothes, sleeping bags, tents in Indiana, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Now, for those of you who call me a fraud, do you do that? Because I never see you out there. I don't see you out there, but I'm out there in the middle of winter, passing out sleeping bags and passing out and giving bologna sandwiches. So for any of those trolls, if you're sitting there calling me a fraud, do you do it? No, you don't. But you had keyboard courage to attack somebody who is doing it and who never, ever, ever, not one time, however, charged. Never will. That's why you will never see a video of me performing an exorcism on anybody on camera, because on YouTube, Facebook, because I refuse to make a buck off people suffering. I refuse to do it, no matter what. No matter what, I won't do it. Now, there are some people that do, and they get thousands and thousands of likes and views, and they make big bucks off that. But you will never ever once see me for the 30 exorcisms that I have performed. You'll never see them. And some of them were quite terrible. But I won't show them to you or anybody, because I refuse to make a buck off people's suffering. So if those of you who are going to sit there and call me a fraud, then you need to show me where I'm frauding anybody if I don't charge. Innocence of children. First of all, as far as possession, now I can tell you the Roman Catholic Church teaches, and in the 2,000-year history, there's never been a child that has been possessed before the age of reason. Because with the age of reason, then you have intent. And the age of reason, they believe, is 12. So there we go. That's the best way I can answer the question. So anyway, bad energy. And how can you protect yourself from someone trying to do bad energy? Well, believe me, I know a lot about that. When I did Exorcism Live on the Travel Channel, I went to I went to the Travel Channel and they asked me to do a blessing on the home, and I did on the Exorcist house. I was there in 2015, and it was a live television show. And I was coming down the road because there was on top of the hill. That's where you can go in and sit down, and because it was kind of chilly, that it was during the winter. And when I walked down the hill, there began to be a group of people. And it right on top of the hill, and they were, saying terrible things, shouting terrible things at me, calling me all kinds of names, but my name. And then there were Satanists that were there, and they actually had drawn a pentagram, and they were chanting "Death to Bishop Long." Police were called, so they had to kind of, section them off so they wouldn't come down and interrupt and just be silly. So people ask me, well, how did you do it? How did you avoid having this demons then attack you? Let me tell you something. You rebuke it. I rebuke it. Your curse, I rebuke your curse in the name of Jesus Christ. I rebuke it. And I send it back to the person who placed it upon me. You're not placing a curse. You're saying, nope, that curse doesn't belong to me. That belongs to you. And so you do not allow, return to sender. You do not allow that in any type of mojo or whatever you want to call it. You just simply say, no, I refuse. I will not accept it. And that's it. And I call upon God. I call upon St. Michael, and I refuse to be the victim of anybody's evil. I won't do it. So there we go. Are vampires real? I had a show about vampires. Marcus, good question. And Marcus is, by the way, a subscriber. See, it said pin, but it didn't say subscriber or BJL. I did a show on vampires. And there's a lot of people who claim that they are psychic vampires. But there really is no way. I mean, how do you validate that? I mean, how do you validate a psychic vampire? So for me, I don't know. I can't say yes. I can't say no. I don't think there is, the vampire Dracula, it turns into a vampire or a bat and all this other stuff. No, but I think there are a lot of people who think that they are. Is Christ a vampire? No. Okay. I was talking about the predictions from here he is. Baba Vanga says this in 2023. She predicted that a solar storm will strike Earth in 2023 on a scale the world has never seen before. Now, this prediction is certainly possible, and even a minor one could still knock out electrical and power grids that would bring communications and commerce to a standstill. So that's what she says. She also predicted a big country will carry out, now listen, this is kind of creepy. A big country will carry out bioweapons research on people, resulting in the death of thousands of them. And that sounds pretty scary and completely plausible with the war in Ukraine. The volatile political climates in Iran and other countries, and the protests raging in China over mass COVID shutdowns. Any one of these could be linked to bioweapon research and the accidental or intentional mass deaths for thousands. Baba Vanga predicts a nuclear power plant explosion in 2023. Again, that it could easily happen in Ukraine. Matter of fact, we came very close in 2022 with Russia attacking and seizing the nuclear power plant there in Ukraine. She also says human babies. Now, this is I don't know. I don't like this one. Humans will grow babies to full term in laboratories in order to allow parents to choose skin color and other characteristics of their offspring. Now, there are some countries have already edited the genomes of human embryos and created the first human genetically edited babies. That's actually has already occurred. So this is well on the way to happening, which is, I don't know. I just don't, that's just kind of cruel. Now, she also predicted that aliens will visit Earth. The world could find itself, quote, covered in darkness, and millions will die as a result. There is that mass death prediction again for 2023. So Baba Vanga doesn't have much good to say about our upcoming year. So if it's any consolation, she also predicted, she didn't, again, to be fair, she also predicted that an alien arrival in 2022, and that hasn't happened yet. Well, we've seen, but a forecast for 2022 did not predict that millions would die. Millions would die. So we'll see, but that's a lot of theory. Now, the first prediction, and it says here with Nostradamus, twice put down, the East will also weaken the West. Its adversary, after several battles, chased by sea, will fail at time of need. The sudden death of the first personage will have changed and put another in the reign. So that first prediction of a world war fought at sea hasn't happened yet. And the sudden death in the second was not Queen Elizabeth II, but thought to be North Korea's Kim Jong-un. Although Russia's Vladimir Putin is said to be, by many people, saying that he has cancer. And there are still 3 weeks to go for him to go. So the quadrains of Michael Nostradamus' prophecies were published in 1555 and must be interpreted, but many interpreters believe he correctly predicted the Great Fire of London, the French Revolution, and the rise of Adolf Hitler, the assassination of JFK, the moon landing, and 9/11. So, now looking past his misses in 2022, which he did, the Santa Barbara News Press unveiled his predictions for 2023. This is for Nostradamus. Okay? And this is what it says. And I'll get your questions in. Just hold on. This is Nostradamus predicted. 2023. The Antichrist very soon annihilates the three. 27 years the war will last. The unbelievers are dead, captive, and exiled, with blood, human bodies, water, and red hail covering the earth. Now, if you thought Baba Vanga's prophecies were depressing, Nostradamus are downright apocalyptic. This quadrant is interpreted to predict a 27-year world war between Russia and the United States and its allies as a result of the conflict in Ukraine. That war may quickly bring about Nostradamus' second prediction for 2023, Britain's entry into the war. And he said this, within the Isles is a very horrible uproar. One will hear only a party of war. When Nostradamus is warning also about a 9.8 earthquake in the Pacific Ocean, which will release, and this is what he says, It will release giant spiders and locusts. And those are probably symbolic, though, of something worse. He also predicts a meteorite the size of a whale will bring an alien species to Earth. Perhaps this is Baba Vanga's mass deaths as a result of aliens. He also he projects this. This is his projecting, not me, so don't get mad at me. He is predicting, or many people have interpreted his prediction, saying that the U.S. President Joe Biden will suffer from a mystery disease that would not be a surprise based on his age. Obviously, on the climate change front, he sees cost of scarce food so high that the bushel of wheat, this is what he says, the bushel of wheat rise that man will be eating his fellow man. However, the scariest and possibly strangest prediction goes back to Putin, Russia, and the problem the country has in recruiting new soldiers to fight the war. It says a monkey of fortune with twisted tongue will come to the sanctuary of the gods. He will open the door to heretics and raise up the church militant. Now, this is interpreted to mean that a long-running rumor that Russia is working on a human-monkey hybrid will come true in 2023. Folks, I'm telling you, this is what people are saying. It's a military the army, basically, that will feed on anything, fight like animals, and not result in the same sorrow or guilt back home when they pass away. So there you go. I mean, it doesn't sound like a very nice predictions. I mean, I'm like, oh, goodness gracious, can we predict something nice, for goodness gracious? There's got to be something nice, something. By the way, for those of you who missed the show last week, the Euphrates River, that is one of the predictions in Revelation. But I talked about the Euphrates River, and the director of resource or something in Jerusalem, in Israel, has stated that the Euphrates has not completely dried up. It is drying up quickly, and that they expect by 2040 or so, it will be completely dried out. So there you go. I mentioned this last week, and I'm going to say this again because I think, or I think Monday. Trolls are jealous. You're honest. Well, thank you. That's very nice. That's very nice of you, Massey. Listen to this and tell me what you think. Yeah, keep almost 130,000 likes on TikTok. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Listen to this story. 130. There we go. A new Grinch movie releases, the release date, when it's coming out, and all this other stuff. I don't know about this one. This is by Chris Capel. So what is this new Grinch movie? The release date. Have you heard about it? There's a new horror movie. It's a parody. It's out in theaters in the same twisted children's book style as the upcoming Winnie the Pooh. Believe it or not, they had the Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Anyway, so when is the mean one coming out? Well, it's called The Mean One. And the Grinch horror movie parody, The Mean One, will release in theaters in the United States on December 9th. Today. So it's a limited release. So it's likely to be a limited time release, especially with big movies like Avatar launching the following week. So it was previously announced in October that The Mean One, that's the name of the movie, would get a free streaming release on December 15th, 2022. And these plans may have changed, however, as only the theatrical release was mentioned in the new trailer. At the moment, The Mean One does not have a streaming release date. It's true. It's a horror movie. So if you don't know what it's about, well, The Mean One is a horror parody. It takes take on the classic Dr. Seuss book on the Christmas movie, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It is directed by Stephen Lamort and written by Flip and Finn Cable. It stars David Howard Thornton as the Grinch. So the story behind The Mean One is that instead of just Cindy, who the meeting the Grinch, he kills her parents and leaves her traumatized. 20 years later, the Grinch begins killing in Newville once again, and a grown-up Cindy returns home to attempt to stop the monster forever. However, it should be noted that unlike Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, believe it or not, there's a horror movie of that, the rights to the Grinch Who Stole Christmas are not public domain. So consequently, the mean one avoids calling the monster the Grinch in the movie itself or using the language of the book. It also describes itself as a horror parody. So it opens in U.S. theaters on December the 9th. I'm just curious, would you guys watch that? Sounds great. Wow. That is very, very interesting. I don't know. It's gotten, of course, look, yeah, no. There's a lot of people saying no. Well, thank you, Starling, and thank you again for all the likes on TikTok. I think, yeah, some people are just no way. I don't think you're going to get Oscar-winning performance, folks. So, but it would be interesting. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. The moderator is asking. So we'll see what what TikTok says. We're doing a poll on how many people are actually going to vote and watch the Grinch. I might watch it just so that I can do a movie review on it. Yeah, no Oscars. I don't think we're going to see Oscar-winning performances there, folks. So, excuse me. They haven't released when it's going to come on cable. Okay. So I don't know. I'm kind of like I don't know. Special effects. Yeah, I don't think you're going to get $1 million. So I don't know. So what is it saying? Can we post our poll question? What's it saying? I agree. Jim Carrey. Yeah, he did an amazing job. Yeah. Facebook. Okay. Again. Well, now keep in mind, everybody, on my Facebook page, 75% said no. On my Facebook page, facebook.com/Bishop James Long, all one word, Bishop James Long. Folks, I've been at my 5,000 friends, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. So I can't really add right now because Facebook only allows you to do 5,000 friends, which is stupid. But anyway, what are you going to do? Mantra. There's a lot of people, even in psychology, who talk about mantras. And again, this is the Paranormal Supernatural show. And I have friends from all walks of life. Well, this individual, her name is Michelle Maddenberg. She has a PhD. And she talks about mantras. And I want to talk about that because some people are very, very, they're firm beliefs in what you project becomes reality. So this is what she has a PhD. So let's just listen to this and see what you think. She says mantras have been empirically studied and are proven as a tool for improved health and mental health. What you specifically recite when selecting a mantra is less important than the repeated focused attention, she says. Through powerful, memorable, and concise mantras, she says we can train ourselves to continually tap into our joy, strength, and fortitude. So this is what she says. Just listen up. I know just some people are saying, oh, I don't believe in mantras. Again, let's just listen, analyze, interpret, and then we can talk about what you think about this. She says, with holidays and New Year approaching, we have moments to contemplate how we want to move forward with our lives. We always have choices. Even inaction is an action taken. Self-affirming mantras help to center and ground us so that we're pausing, contemplating, and strategizing with mindful awareness, thus fortifying joy and contentment. Now, the concept of a mantra originates from Buddhist and Hindu traditions. A number of studies suggest soothing mantras may help ease anxiety and other mental health conditions, such as depression. Now, some people say, well, no, I don't like that. It's a very new age, and the Catholic Church never does that. Actually, the Catholic Church does do Taiz prayer. Some people say Taiz prayer, Taize. So that's very much a mantra. We can choose mantras that we can personally relate to and are consistent with our beliefs and compel us toward growth and progress. So listen to that. So this is what she says, and this is from a PhD, why mantras are helpful. You may use a mantra to introduce calmness and to focus on words and ideas that are important to you. It can serve as a focal point for mindfulness and present moment awareness and a pathway for soothing, affirming messages that can connect you to your values. A mantra can also empower value-based decision-making and bring you a sense of emotional connection to your mind and body. Now, several studies suggest that mantras may improve health and mental health. A systematic review found general improvements in stress, anxiety, anger, depression, burnout among participants in 37 studies. So I'm not just presenting you like hoopla and hocus pocus stuff. This actually has been studied. Another randomized controlled trial found clinically relevant reductions in depression symptoms. Neuroscientists equipped with advanced brain image technology are also beginning to quantify and confirm some of the health benefits of reciting mantras to calm the nervous system and to reduce the default mode network in the brain, which is related to mind wandering and distraction. Research also suggests that it doesn't matter what you specifically recite, as long as you repeat something with focused attention. The studies are showing that you're going to get positive results. Now, this is interesting. I think this is really, really interesting. So these are 16 mantras that this PhD is going to present to you to reset your mindset. So let's get into this. 1, she says, when I'm willing to welcome, accept, and befriend negative and uncomfortable emotions, validate myself, and engage in self-compassion, I commit to making room for growth and expansion. 2, I do not have control over my thoughts and feelings, only the way I choose to behave or react to them. I think that's very wise. So these are 16 mantras to reset your mindset. 3, my brain is hardwired to focus on the negative. I can more easily recall memories of my pain than my joy, both cognitively in my mind and all in my body. She says, my brain tells me that if I focus on the negative, the what ifs, and what could inevitably go wrong, then I'm protecting myself from harm, failure, and discomfort. My thinking process do not need to skew my inner expectations and behavior. 4, my mind is persistent. I cannot necessarily rid myself of the chatter in my mind, but rather just lower the volume. The chatter can become a direct portal to my values and better understanding of what is meaningful and important to me. 5, to increase my flexibility and curiosity, I'll perpetually ask myself, how else can I see this? And is my reaction and behavior helping me to lean toward or away from building my confidence and a reflection of who I want to be? Now, the 6, she says, I feel more comfortable with familiarity, than the frightening unknown. Even if it's painful, distressing, or less than ideal, I'll acknowledge these feelings rather than react to them from a place of stuckness or stagnation. 7, creating space between thinking and doing requires that I pace myself, observe myself, remain curious about myself. All thoughts and feelings that show up in the process are okay. What matters most is how I choose to react to them. This is inevitably my choice. 8, in my pain, I find values. And in my values, I find my pain. In other words, if I'm feeling distressed, it's because a value is being rubbed up against. And if a value is being rubbed up against, I will inevitably feel distressed. My distress assists me in better understanding my needs and what truly is important to me. 9, I will choose to behave based on who I authentically am and how I want to be, no matter what, irrespective of someone else's behavior. 10, if I commit to perpetual curiosity, openness, and hopefulness, I ask myself, how will I do better tomorrow? And what will I commit to do to making that happen? So in other words, when you're doing the mantra, that's the question, some of the questions she asked herself. 11, if I continually stay connected to my values, I'll remain mindful and grounded and behave based on my best self. 12, cutting off my negative and uncomfortable feelings inadvertently also impacts my ability to connect with my positive and more comfortable ones. I choose to welcome all feelings and experiences and minimize my judgments of them in order to stay connected and engaged in the present moment. 13, to foster self-acceptance, I will observe myself just as I am without attaching any descriptors or adjectives to my observations. 14, what I put positive, gratitude or negative, energy and effort into grows stronger over time. All moments are prime opportunities for me to be proactive in cultivating greater confidence in helpful habits. 15, by being accepting and compassionate towards myself, I can more easily give others the same benefit of the doubt as I am able to connect with what it feels like to be imperfect and to suffer as well. And then finally, 16, there are so many great things I can't control. So sometimes, in order to gain control, I must let go of the need for wanting to control. That's pretty powerful. Some of the things, and again, some people, there's a lot of things that you can do as far as your own self. And I always tell people, you deserve the same love that you give to everyone else. So whatever mantra that you want, whatever it could be, let's say that pick 3 things that you want. You want happiness, you want joy, or you want happiness, you want love, and you want peace. Then a mantra could be as simple as, I deserve happiness. I deserve love. I deserve peace. And you repeat it. I deserve happiness. I deserve love. I deserve peace. I deserve happiness. I deserve love. I deserve peace. Whatever feeling she's saying, basically, that enters your mind, you accept those feelings. You don't reject it. You accept them. And that could be a mantra that you could do. And there's a lot of people, and again, these are studies that she has said that actually shows that something happens there. Something happens, and to me, I think that's pretty powerful. But anyway, that's just something that I want to pass on to you guys, and you guys can go from there. And if you want to do it, do it. If you're not, that's fine. Okay, what are some other questions? Well, purple is for, I'm a bishop of the church, so that's why. Okay, for those of you who like video games, I love chant. Yeah, I love Gregorian chant. Yeah, there's a video game, by the way, if you like Hellboy. Well, Hellboy was a movie, and this is by Mr. Egan. So a Hellboy Web of Word, W-Y-R-D, or Word, or what? It's a new action adventure game set in the universe of Supernatural comic series, was revealed at the Game Awards on Thursday. So the game's first trailer, revealed during the Game Awards pre-show, features the red-skinned paranormal investigator facing off against a wolf-like demon in the ruins of what appears to be an abandoned chapel. Well, the game is being developed by Upstream Arcade, the studio behind 2019's West of Dead. Will follow Hellboy as he is tasked with recovering an agent from the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense who has gone missing. So for those of you who are really, really excited about it, there we go. Hellboy, A Web of Bird will be available on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox, and all these other things. So it's coming out. So for those of you who love the Hellboy series, I've never even seen a Hellboy movie. I don't even know what. So I talked about demonic attachments. I think that serial killers most certainly could have demonic attachment. I certainly think it falls under what's called ordinary demonic activity. So yeah. Oh yeah. Ramirez was a coward. He was a coward. I think he's just, well, no, I'm not a gang. Believe me, you would not want me to play. If we were in a competition or whatever in the game, I would not be a good person to play these games with, because I still think the Nintendo, I think 64 is state of the art. But no, I mean, the graphics are amazing. That they're coming out with all these different things. I would love. My goal, and I've said this last week, is to get a flight simulator game. Absolutely. I would be because I'm a nerd. I would love this. Now that, yeah, I'm not really into all the shooting and killing and all that stuff. But now as far as flight simulator, oh, I'm there. I am right on board. A red eye through a window. What is it? I don't know what it is. No, I don't know. I mean, it could be a million things. It could be an animal. It could be. Some people describe even as Bigfoot having red eyes. I just simply don't know. I would need to know more information if there's paranormal activity occurring in the home, or if you just saw it outside the window. It could be a million things. You know. I can't do virtual reality. I was at the mall once and I was walking, and they had this a little shop there, a little game thing shop, and they had virtual reality. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to try this because I've never tried it before. Because everybody's talking about virtual reality. I got sick. I got really. I felt no. This is virtual reality. It's first person thing, and no, I didn't like it at all. I just that made me sick. I don't know. I can't. I don't do virtual reality. It just makes me. Yeah. And apparently, there's a virtual reality. I think in third person you can do, from my understanding. But I don't. I don't know. I don't know. I just. So anyway, I don't know much about it. Yeah, motion sickness. That's what I got. Yeah, I got really, really motion. It messed me up. I said, nope, no more. So I didn't like it. But at least I experienced it, and I don't like it. No. But now a flight simulator game, you can play. You don't have to play on that first person. You can play on the third person. You can see the and you can land. Gosh, I'm gonna have to get one of those. I'm gonna have to find an Xbox. They have it Series S, but you don't want that. It's a Series X. So if you want a flight simulator, you need to get Xbox Series X. Don't get the S, because I've been told that the graphics are terrible. It's a Series X with the brand new flight sim. So if you're wanting one and you like to do a flight simulators, and if you're looking for one, make sure you get the Xbox. If you're getting Xbox, they have it on PC too, but Xbox Series X. No, I don't live in a monastery, but I did study with the Benedictines. So, oh yes. Oh wow, that's great. He's taking flying lessons. He's 66. That's fantastic. Yeah, GameStop has them. But they're a little pricey, so they're not cheap. I ask them about it and I call them, and so okay. So what are some paranormal questions? And I'll be happy to entertain. It could be anything or just questions in general. So whatever questions, I highly recommend it. But you do. Oh, fly but troublesome. Highly recommend it. You'll enjoy. Okay, but let me ask you a question. Fly but troublesome. I'm going to follow you too. Do you do the flight simulator thing? The Nun movie. It's interesting because it's loosely based on a true story. Oh, you do? I'm gonna. Can you send me a message on Facebook? Because I want to talk to you. Facebook.com/Bishop James Long. Bishop James Long is all one word. Can you send me a message there on Facebook? Because I'd really like to talk to you about that. Because I really, really, I never spend ever anything on me, but I've been thinking about doing this. But make sure it's this one. It's that one right there. So yeah, just make sure you send that to me if you would. I would appreciate that. Okay, the difference between a demonologist and an exorcist. Okay, understand, a demonologist is not the same thing as an exorcist. A demonologist can be laity. So laity that are not ordained, that are not trained as far as performing the solemn rite of exorcism. They're demonologists. What they do is they take investigations, they investigate the cases, they gather all the evidence, And based on their investigation, they determine whether or not a clergy needs to get involved. That is a demonologist. They are people who actually have primary research. There's a lot of people claiming, especially in the paranormal, there's a lot of people claiming to be demonologists who've never worked a demonic case in their life. And I know quite a few of them. They watch YouTube videos and things like this, but as far as actually working demonic cases, they've never worked one. That's not a demonologist. That's a person who's read or watched the video and told you what they read. That doesn't make you a demonologist. So they take on cases, they investigate them, they gather them, they present it to an exorcist. An exorcist, by the very office, is a demonologist. But a demonologist is not necessarily an exorcist. You see the difference, because an exorcist is a validly trained clergy member who has been trained in the rite, who can perform the solemn rite of exorcism. There we go. So please understand that. How do we safely study demonology? Well, again, it's all about the intent. So if you learn demonology because you want to learn that, that's fine. But if you're learning demonology and you're going out and taking on demonic cases, then you need to understand that there are some dangers with that. And a demonologist who is validly trained will understand that, and they accept the dangers that come with this type of ministry. So, am I spiritual? Yeah. I don't like Ouija boards. I've been very, very outspoken against them on TikTok. I've spoken against Ouija boards for many years now in the paranormal. There's nothing good. Nothing good comes with using a Ouija board. Nothing. So it's negative. I stay very focused on positive. I like positivity. My life I surround myself with as much positivity as I can. And I don't like negativity. I don't like to surround myself with negativity because I just don't want to live in that realm. And when you have, and quite honestly, when you have the love of Christ truly in your heart, you can be nothing. If you truly have the love of Christ in your heart, then you truly have the desire to show compassion and love to everyone without judgment, without condemning people. So if you truly have the love of Christ in your heart, then you're going to be filled with joy. That fills you with joy. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people who say they have the love of Christ in their heart, and they're condemning everybody to hell. If you have Christ in your heart, you can't really sit there and condemn everybody to hell, because that actually is contradictory. So I just don't believe that. So that's my belief. Well, thank you very much. I've been reading the 1700 farmhouse. I've had 1700 farmhouse. Are you talking about the which farmhouse are you referring to? Yeah, I don't like, here's the deal. I don't like any type of, this is me. I don't like any type of forum that immediately communicates or tries to contact the spirit world. Because thank you for spirit, because the problem is that you have no way to control what comes through. And that's very dangerous. And so I always tell people, look, if you're going to do this, you need to understand the dangers. I'm not their parent. I can tell them don't do it. But I can also say, if this is what you're doing, you need to understand the consequences of it. So you can't just say, don't do it, don't do it, don't. You got to teach people why not. And the reason is because you don't know who you're talking to. You have no idea who you're speaking with. You have no clue. And that opens a portal for the that's the invitation that a demonic entity needs can creep in. So that's why I'm just not a fan of that. Look, someone asked about ghost hunters. I never really liked the term hunters. I like investigators. There's a lot of people that attack ghost investigators or paranormal investigators. I'm sick and tired of it. I am sick and tired of clergy and everybody else attacking paranormal investigators. There are paranormal investigators in the paranormal community that are abusing it. No doubt about it. They're disrespectful. They go to cemeteries. They're screaming. They're provoking. They're just being very disrespectful. Then there are paranormal investigators who answer the phone call at 2:00 in the morning. They go to these people's homes. They investigate their homes. They don't owe those people anything. They never charge at all. They investigate to try to debunk. And if they can't debunk it, they gather the information and then they get clergy involved. That is a ministry. And I'm sick and tired of clergy and other bishops within the independent movement, within the regular movement, the old Catholic movement, who are always constantly attacking the United States Old Catholic Church, me, and other clergy members because we happen to be involved in the paranormal community. Well, if you don't understand that what we're doing is ministry, then you don't have an idea what ministry is, because we're the ones that picking up the phone at 2 or 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. We're the ones driving to people's homes. We're the one that never charges one dime, and we are the ones who are trying to debunk everything that's occurring in their home. And then when we can't debunk, we actually perform a blessing and we give them peace of mind. If that is not ministry, then you don't know ministry. Period. The end. You wouldn't know ministry if it came up and bit you on the ass, because what we do is actually ministry. So while the naysayers are attacking paranormal investigators who are actually going to people's homes, while they are saying you're doing the work of the devil, well, then what are you doing besides sitting on the sideline and attacking people who are actually trying to help? What are you doing? Not a damn thing, but sitting on the sideline and complaining about the people who do ministry. Well, while you sit over there and complain, we're going to sit right here and we're going to continue to go to people's homes and we're going to continue to investigate and we're going to continue to help families who are truly going through hell. And if you don't like it, I don't give a damn. Talk to your therapist because the office is closed. For those of you who are in Spreaker, I'm going to say thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thank you all. And I'll see you guys soon. Okay, so that's how I feel about that. I'm sick and tired of other bishops always using this. I have been harassed and attacked. I have been called everything in the book by people who claim to be Christians and claim to be Catholic and claim to be this. And people have called me everything and have used that against me for 20 years now. And I've had enough, because the only thing that I do is go to people's homes and I bless their homes for free. And I give them peace of mind. If you don't understand that, well, that's your problem, not mine. For those of you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and I'll be with TikTok in just a second, remember, I always tell you, your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. Remember, you're priceless, and never let anybody convince you otherwise. God bless.
The Sacred Division has been brought to you by Bishop Long's online paranormal course. Learn demonology, angelology, paranormal studies, and genealogy. It's 100% online, and you learn at your own pace. Please go to www.bishopjameslong.com and click on the paranormal course link.